Hey man, how's it going?
Not too bad. Busy week.
Yeah,
Physically
sounds.
demanding.
I'll
I
bet.
just made myself popcorn, and I'm pretty happy. I found some dill pickle spice to put on it as well for popcorn, and
Cool.
yeah, it's nice to have melted butter and popcorn.
Sure. Yeah, sometimes it's nice to relax and do whatever. I myself just ate something as well, so it's kind of nice to have something in my stomach. And yeah, welcome back everybody to Bite My Shiny Middle Cast. Today we are looking at number 6, I believe, Wicked Human.
Yeah,
Yeah. So yeah, right off the bat, as I think as
first
you alluded
impressions,
to, yeah, well, as you alluded to last week or last time, we did not get this one
forgettable.
right. Well, no, we didn't get
Oh,
this
oh
one right,
yeah, for a
right?
prediction.
For
Oh yeah, we
predictions.
got this so
But it
wrong.
was but it was funny because like how you predicted this episode, right? Because we based it off of what's his Branch Woodman chasing Fry. We thought he would be the quote unquote like wicked human, right? But it turns out
Yeah,
that
the
was
flexo of
the
Fry
Flexo of Fry, which you were kind of right with, but that was 50 Shades of
in a
Green, which was
way.
also
Yeah,
not correct whatsoever. But yeah, this one's not in the trailer, right? So now we know for
no,
sure. Like this one's just like all the episodes from here on
not
out.
yeah,
Nothing.
not
Yeah,
a
we
still
don't see
image or
any of them. Yeah,
anything.
no issue, no images. So we had nothing really to base it on. I remember when until you had talked about the idea of like that wicked human, I thought because wicked to me does mean evil, and we can kind of get into that with like what this episode actually means. But I thought maybe it would have had something to do with the robot devil or with something to do with Roberto as well. Like I had thought about this, but then you had
Oh
convinced
yeah,
me otherwise.
that
So
what like two, not even 2 second clip of seeing both the robot devil and Flex. So you're like, okay, that's like 6 different episodes. No,
yeah,
no, it's literally like one
literally
scene.
in the very first, basically the very first
Yeah,
scene too of like the
yeah,
new
like the
season.
first like sequence,
Yeah,
the first sequence. That
yeah,
was it.
they're
That's
going
all we
out to
got for robot
party
devil
and
and
they're
Flexo. Yeah.
exactly. So, any case, yeah, Wicked Human. Yeah, I mean, we'll talk
What's your
more
first
about it with.
impression? Yeah,
Well,
just
yeah,
like
well,
did you like it or not like it
yeah,
or hate it or really hate it?
I did not really hate it. I did not really love it. I think it was actually fairly good. Like I thought it was like a pretty good episode because they make fun of like a lot of the sides. Like they make the professor look like he's insane, but at the same
Yeah,
time he's right. And with all the things that were going on and how it ends and everything, I thought was like it's funny, but it's also kind of dumb. So
that was a census that I got. It was just like I thought this was such
yeah,
a stupid episode. I think the punchline was of the episode was kind of funny,
yeah,
but
it's
at
very
the whole
Futurama, I suppose.
yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, I think it's kind of like the lowest hanging fruit in a way.
yeah. Well,
Reddit, a lot of them thought this was just a dumb episode, fun but dumb.
I thought it seemed like such a weird episode to kind of be this late in the series. Like you think they would have made fun of this kind of thing, or they would have done something like this like well before. Like
Yeah.
so. I mean, I'll go into a small synopsis for it because it's actually the nice thing about this episode is actually quite easy to kind of do.
Oh, it's
Like
straightforward.
it's very very
It's
straightforward.
very
Like there's like
straightforward,
no B
linear.
plot. Yeah.
Yeah.
So the thing with this episode is that it deals a lot with like science versus religion, which I kind of appreciate because as a science person myself, and it's more so like this, and I do enjoy like conversations and debates and like talks about these kinds of things. It's weird to kind of see it done in a way like this because it makes fun of it, but at the same time it's kind of weird to it's also kind of weird to have Futurama because like it takes place 1,000 years in the future. So it's weird to have a
Wow.
conversation with all these people and doing all these weird things, and I don't know. I thought
You
it seems out of place for the
you
Futurama
still got to
universe.
remember that it's written by the idiots of today, as we saw with the second episode ever with the
But
global
the
warming
but the
shit.
idiot who wrote this episode is not he's been around for a long time if I'm not mistaken.
That
Like
doesn't matter.
I know I'm just
He's
saying like
still an idiot of today.
well he's still like knows Futurama, right? Actually, you know what,
Well,
it does
yeah.
remind me there's something it kind of does remind me, which I did like about like an episode in the Comedy Central run, I think, and it has to do with it's Calculon 2.0 when they bring back Calculon and they have the professor saying like, I can bring him back to life, and there's like we need a robot goat and we need to sacrifice, and Hermes keeps saying like this seems
And
less and less
like
scientific, and it's all like
five dead internet routers to
yeah,
make like
exactly. We
a
need the
like the
routers and
devil
the
sign or
Pentagon, right? And
the
that's
Pentagon. Thank
so
you. Yeah,
it's so funny, and I thought that was hilarious. And he's like, "I'll bring him back," and they all have to wear those robes. So I thought that was like kind of reminiscent with this
yeah.
episode. That's what it kind of reminded me of. But in any
That
case,
was that was smarter than this one, and that was making blatant fun of it.
That's
This one is just a little
that's why
stupid in
it,
my
it
opinion.
seems like they took that scene and made an entire episode of that, and that's kind of what kind of like okay, kind of drags on a little bit. But anyways, let me do a very quick synopsis of it, and then we'll talk goods and bads. So
All right.
basically, Wicked Human is the idea, as we've kind of talked about, is the idea of so the episode opens up and for whatever reason, people are starting to basically when they look up at the sky, they're starting to float up into space. Okay. Now, everyone, including, like a lot of our main characters, a lot of people are all thinking like, okay, this is like something to do with the rapture. So this is like a Christ thing. This is like, God thing. Like it's finally time. The end of days has come. Everybody's like either freaking out or happy because, people are finally going to heaven and whatever. Now,
And how many of those have we lived through, Anthony? I think at
at
least
least
6 that
three.
I remember.
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, like
There's
end
a
of
lot of
world
little
things.
ones,
I mean,
or just like the rapture that have happened. I know there's a
Y2K,
that was one.
2012, like
Yep.
every
COVID.
25 years there's something going on. So, any case,
There's a lot of them. That's all I'm saying.
the only person who seems to like really hate the idea that everybody else is thinking that it must be a rapture is the professor, because the professor is very much, all about science and he cares only about science. So, the way this works is that the professor basically becomes a cult leader for the sake of science, and he makes a lot of comments that revolve around like everything I do is for science, yay science, and let's all pray to the spot of where MIT is, all these kinds of things, and they makes them like wear robes that have like no buttons, so they have to wear these. They basically look like cult leaders and cultists. At the same time, we also have like the faith leaders are all happy, like, and they're all like fighting each other, but they're all happy at least that they have like,
Oh,
oh,
what were they?
the rapture. Well, they have the space pope is coming back. We have the lizard space pope. We have oh, what
Wh-
is he? The preacher bot. We have the
Preacher Bot, thank
grand
you. Yes.
midwife who does like make more of an appearance, and we have the oh my god, like whatever his name is, the guy who's like the alt faith leader, like is all leader who's
Yeah.
up there, maybe not, and fewer
Yeah,
gods
here
or
we are
more, yeah,
before one or more God
more
or
gods or
fewer.
fewer, like stuff like this.
I do love that. Like it should be a
Yeah.
thing, but
Yeah,
whatever.
whatever. It's a funny thing for it, and so it's all good, and they're all like debating about it, and things that we haven't even seen before. But in any case, the professor and them have a debate about like whether or not science is nothing more than just another type of faith, but science clearly has like lots of different, as the professor points out, like science clearly has lots of times that are proven time and time again, whereas faith is only about belief. So he just doesn't do it. He does not believe that the rapture is actually happening. So he basically convinces, we'll say, for lack of a better term, he convinces most of the crew who haven't disappeared, because we had Leela disappear, or like I should say, like quote unquote, get raptured. Zoidberg
I
got
do like that bit
raptured. Yeah, me too. Because
because
Fry
Fry
ties
Fry
his
is like
shoelace and
I
everything.
tied a
Yeah,
shoe to your shoe so we could be
yeah,
raptured together. Isn't that sweet? And then
yeah.
when she gets lifted up, he's
He's
like,
like,
"Yay!"
woohoo!
But then her boot falls
Falls
off, and
off.
he just falls 10 feet and hits his head.
Exactly. So he's all fine. But he's fine. But yeah, he's like, oh, I'm sad. Like Leela's gone now. And we also have like Hermes was with his wife and his son, but they both got raptured, as well as Barbados Slim and all this kind of stuff, which is like the same
Yeah,
joke. So
Barbados
Hermes
Slim
like,
was in the bushes. Yeah,
yeah, so Hermes is like, I don't want to be in heaven if they're up in heaven with them. So he wants to go to hell and all this stuff. And then Zoidberg gets raptured. It's everybody basically gets raptured except for
the
Bender,
professor
Professor, and Hermes. And
and Fry.
well, but Fry does, because that's how we find out about the whole thing. That's right. Fry he is still there
Yeah,
up until the
for the
very
most of
end.
the time.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah. So, in any case, I guess a week or whatever goes by, and New York, which has like a population of like some 20 million,
Canada.
right, 20 million s people or whatever, it goes down to like only like 20 or 60 people, and more people are slowly going down. Like I think Scruffy gets sucked up or something, and it goes down to 59 or something. In any case, there's not very many people left, and the professor is just not knowing what to do. He cannot prove that it's not the rapture. So in any case, he finalizes everything by saying like, okay, well, I pray that I'm going to pray to the god and all this kind of stuff, and he actually does it, and he feels bad doing it, but he does it. And wouldn't you know it, this weird little Cheeto thing, like a little cheese crack, whatever you want to call it, some kind of snack food, a very, very delicious snack food, because they haven't eaten in days, so they're all starving. So they Fry gets this little cracker thing, and then he basically gets on a invisible hook. that turns out to like be sucking people up, and it just basically puts them into a trance so they don't move, hence why it looks like they're floating up into space. And the line that they're being used is also quite thin or invisible or whatever, and it's sucking them up.
Yeah.
And we find out
Technology.
it's some kind of like technology, which the professor is like, yes, it's not the rapture. So he's super happy that people are, getting like hooked on there. And it turns out it's a bunch of these space fishermen, which all have Boston accents. And they're all like up above, and they've created this cloud that makes it look like, God is taking like people into the space or whatever. But they've just been taking humans and people on Earth as like fishing, and they're going to like sell them or whatever. So Hermes and the professor and Bender fly up, deal with them, and Hermes, because he's a bureaucrat, calls the Coast Guard of like the Space Coast Guard and gets them arrested or not arrested, but gets them a warning. But they have to release their catch of all the humans and all the people on Earth, and because they weren't following protocol correctly, and they all get pissed off. But they end up releasing everyone except for Barbados Slim. So I wonder if we're never going to see Barbados Slim again, because Hermes told them that they
I
could
hope
keep
not.
him. Yeah, it'd be kind of funny.
Yeah, I'm sick of that stupid joke of the show at this point. They've established it multiple times.
I wonder if that's why they got rid of him at this point, because they're like, okay, we've
also he's not voiced. He's not voiced by John DiMaggio.
That's right. So
Kevin Michael Richardson.
Yep. So in the end, they finish off at the episode by saying like, oh, well, hopefully this kind of opened your mind, Professor. The professor basically says nope, but he sticks to his like science side and everything. So I'm happy I was actually able to get through this synopsis quite quickly. I left out quite a few details, but the point is science versus religion. Professor is going crazy with the science cult, and basically there's also a side thing where Amy or Kif and the family are trying to get
that's kind
Amy
of the B
to see
plot.
something that's kind of a B plot, I guess, because Kif is kind of worried she's going too crazy. But then she convinces him it's not a big deal, and they all get risen up anyway, so it really doesn't matter. And then the grand midwife is like, oh, I guess I'll read to myself. And she's just whatever.
She's just kind of there.
She's just kind of there. So in any case, what do you think of that? The positives and the negatives. Let's go into the positives for it.
This was kind of a nothing episode for me. It kind of slightly reminded me of at least the beginning part of the episode where Fry gets his nose cut off by aliens.
Yeah, sure.
It kind of reminded me of that, but then it just kind of didn't really go anywhere, which is fine. This episode was funny. It was very funny to kind of just see like the professor be kooky, which is what he is. He's kooky. Sure. And it was also very funny to see like, hey, look at this. We made drinks out of yogurt culture.
What do they call it? Cult-aid, right?
Cult-aid, yeah. Like Kool-Aid.
Because the phrase is to say that you're in a cult is like, oh, if you drink the Kool-Aid, right? And so they just call it Cult-Aid, and then Kip's like, what? It's like, oh, it's cultivated like yogurt that we mix in a beaker with bacteria. See, science. And it's supposed to be that part of the thing, right? Yeah.
This, but I don't really look for the main thing for Futurama. I don't look for cleverness. There is some very smart writing and stuff like that with this episode when it comes to these jokes, but
yeah,
I kind of forgot about this episode when after binging the first one. I was like, Wicked Human, what was that about again? And I couldn't remember.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, and I'd agree with you. I think I do enjoy the episode for the sake of like it kind of it asks a lot of good questions and has a lot of good things, but I do like that it plays both sides, and I do think that's fun that they can make the professor look crazy doing these kinds of things, but it makes sense for him to, like him saying like, oh, I better put on this Darwin beard so everybody thinks that I'm smart. And he like puts on the beard, and then afterwards it's been like a week or whatever, and he's like, oh man, I really hate this. I don't deserve this Darwin beard. He rips it off, and it turns out he's actually grown a beard. And he's like, well, it's actually science, and he rips off his own beard. Like the professor is just so kooky, but any case,
like I said, like it's got some clever thing, but I don't know. Just
Zoidberg also has some really good lines again. Like,
yeah, right. He was at the beginning. He's like, "What's with all this dust? I'm doing a dust bath, a coarse dust bath from all the vacuum of all this, the vacuumings of all you guys." So it's like he was just all the dirt and dead skin. It was a little like, ugh. Like, but the thing is, chinchillas do that in real life with a dust bath because their fur is too thick. I don't think crustaceans do it, but it was still a joke for Zoidberg.
Sure. I also like, he's like, oh, are they going to accept pets? And the professor keeps hitting with his slipper, saying like, you're not a pet. Now bring me my slipper. Yeah. Oh man. No, I think there's a lot of little jokes here, but I'm there with you. I think this episode isn't really a nothing episode. I think it's not as forgettable for me as the Numberland Gap.
That one was way more forgettable. That one was very number related. This one's very science versus religion.
Well, and that's
which
kind
is
of
just like,
that's kind of the
you
thing,
guys have
right?
already made those jokes already.
Well, it's kind of interesting, right? Because they're both very professor focused, and it's about professor being like on one side versus another side of like a debate. The only difference, like the Numberland Gap, there wasn't
Numbers versus
really.
colors.
Well, there was no debate with that, right? It was nobody was
No.
arguing because Fry was doing his own thing with the color, right? So this one,
Yeah.
there is like adversary to the professor's side, which is better as an episode, and that's why it's structured so much better. So I wouldn't call it a nothing episode, but it's definitely not like on my top, not the top 10 of these
It's probably the second
these
lowest
episodes,
one.
right? It's I would say so as well. At least from what I can
Yeah.
remember, this is probably the second
Yeah.
lowest.
The Numberland Gap was just like that one was for people who love numbers.
They must love
Awesome.
math.
Good for you. Why is it part of Futurama? Make it fun, like the body switch.
Yeah, it does nothing for Futurama in general. This one at least has a few other things. Now we know a little bit more about the universe, I suppose. Like there's these space coast fishermen. I also do like we get to see. I mean, a positive is like we got reference to the lengths of wire again.
That one was funny, yeah, which was like the first episode, right?
Yeah, we had Hermes station out his 37 bureaucratic level again, and he had like the little phone.
Nice, yeah.
Like, that was a nice call. Like there's a few little things
do get to see him. He's a little more focused on the next episode with Dwight.
That's right. So it is.
Who was actually also voiced by Phil Lamar this episode. So I can't remember the other guy's name, but he didn't voice him this episode either.
Bumper Robinson. Yeah, I guess they couldn't get him back or something. I don't know.
I don't know.
And then I guess the negatives are kind of just like everything we said as a positive. The negatives are very much just like it's okay. Like it's not super funny, right?
There were some little jokes, but like it wasn't a funny episode, if that makes sense.
No. I think the storyline is just it feels weird for a show that takes place 1,000 years in the future to be still discussing this. That's what I think.
That's why I said like the idiots of today are still writing, because the idiots of today are not the same idiots that were in the early 2000s. It wasn't kind of the same thing of this side versus that side. Yeah, they've done stuff like this. They've done the whole religion stuff and stuff like that beforehand, but it was funny, and it wasn't the focal point of the episode. It was the accent and stuff like that. Like the professor finding out about the beard, about the Da Vinci, right?
Yeah,
doing all that the Italian stuff and all the Renaissance stuff. That was kind of an accent of the episode. It was the professor trying to find stuff out. This one was just like religion versus science with the professor hitting the notes. Sure. It wasn't quite the professor going on an adventure to realize that, he's a science guy, and there's those people out there, and it's fine. It's not that. And then it kind of just abruptly ends with the kind of the police saying, "No, you can't fish here." That's really kind of it.
That's all it is, right?
Yeah, that's why I can say this one's kind of a bit of a nothing episode, because it just kind of just ends. There's not really kind of like a moral to it from what I saw. It's not like we can all live underneath the same roof or anything like that. No, it's just you're under arrest for too much fishing.
Sure.
It's like, okay, cool. I did like this is my positive. I would say it was the main positive, that everyone on planet Earth got baited by the wild and spicy bait puffs. Everyone.
Yeah. No, I agree. That was pretty funny. I actually have like the cheese nip or whatever. What was it called? Like the bait chip or whatever it was called.
Wild. The professor has a bag of it. It says wild and spicy bait puffs.
Bait puffs. Thank you. My favorite part of that is that all those fishermen are like the Boston accent ones. So they're all like, he's wicked smart, y'all. And every time they say guard, they're saying God, because they don't have the R sound kind of thing. So he's like, God.
Oh, so that's even more
God. Funny. It's the God.
I think it
was God. Yeah. I thought that
we've seen these aliens before, right?
So I was wondering that
the Coast Guard. It was As He Come Home. It was that guy.
It may be the same race, yes, but he's not. He wasn't Boston accented, so these guys are clearly like a play on that. But yes, I think they're right. I think that's exactly what kind of alien they are, which makes sense actually, because they're like spacefaring creatures. They're very nautical. And all this kind of stuff,
nautical.
Right?
There's the word shippy.
The shippy type, if you will. So
it's the brightest thing in the universe, assy.
And I was gonna say as well. So like you mentioned, like it feels like they've done stuff like this before. They've done it like even
better.
Well, even
this is like the sadder, like
what's the episode? Like, Godfellas. Didn't they prove that God did exist? He was a computer thing.
Well, right? No, it was kind of yes, but also no. And that's what it was. Are you just a giant computer that collided with God?
I could be. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's like, if you've done your job right, they'll never know you've done anything at all.
So he's like, one of those things.
So, okay, fine.
Yeah, you did pretty good until everyone died.
Yeah. Exactly, because that's when God, like Bender was being God, right? So I think you hit it on the head. I think there's a lot of episodes that Futurama has done where they've played with this idea and they've done it better. And then this
Yeah,
one is just like all of it combined, but it's not as funny.
no,
They really
it's
focus on
just,
that. Yeah.
it's why keep saying the writers of today, even though these people did write on the old stuff and stuff like that, it's just the atmosphere of how to write television right now is very skewed, right? Sure. It's very leaning a certain way, and it's not like, oh, let's try and broad it for everyone, because that's what Futurama is. It's kind of just like everyone
for everybody is. Well, it's supposed to be just a sci-fi silly show set in a thousand of the years, right? But this, and not to say like this one is silly. It is silly. And there's a lot of like funny things, as you mentioned. There's a lot of really good things in the episode, but in the end, it's just like it's kind of a nothing thing. It doesn't really do much, and it ends. Yeah, it feels like there's not much more we could have. I mean, I do like the ending. I do. I think the ending is because you know what? It's kind of
punchline. The punchline was funny.
I will say this episode actually is kind of the reverse. I would feel towards what's that episode? Attack of the Clones. Attack of the Clones. When you have like all these things going on throughout the whole episode. And the professor's going like another professor led one. And he's going crazy as the professor and making clothing and all this kind of stuff.
Designer.
And then I like the episode all the way up until the very end, and then we don't get like an ending. Right? It's just like,
there's no closure.
Yeah, there's no closure to the end. The clones are going to destroy the world, and like, oh, what does this mean for our children? Like, who cares? This one is like the opposite. It's like, I don't know, like the way they get to the very end, and it turns out, oh, it's these aliens that are just wanting to like catch these humans and sell them. Like, I think it's funny. There's got to be like this middle ground. Like, where can you find something that, oh yeah, I really enjoyed the beginning, and then they stick that ending, right?
Yeah.
So, any case, yeah, I think overall this episode is not bad. It's not up to the point, right? So, based on our predictions, like for what
we got it so wrong. I love that we got it so wrong.
We got it wrong, but like in terms of what we would have rated it, mind you, we were rating it based on the idea that we thought it was going to be the one with Branch Woodman. So
yeah, that's like Fry and him getting in a fight or something like that,
right?
Which
I think pushed us to both 6s out of 10s. I'm still going to call this episode a 6 out of 10 because I do enjoy it. I do think there's things to enjoy about it. I just think it's not as good as what we've seen before.
It's a solid 6. Yeah, it's not a soft 6. It's a solid 6.
Solid 6. Yeah, like would I skip this episode? I mean, I would watch it again. I don't hate
it enough that I wouldn't watch it. Like the Numberland Gap, I might skip that one.
That one's boring.
Just because I don't really care about that kind of thing. And like I said, with the Numberland Gap, there was already a better version of a math one with the body switch one, and like this one there's a couple episodes that there's a couple. Godfellas with the God, also just with the whole poaching human things. The human knows the horn one with Fry. I love that one just because I want to have his lower horn jerk. He's used to it. Woo! Like there was fun jokes in there. This one, I don't know. Like the jokes were good, but they just weren't like memorable.
I feel like the jokes in this episode, they were good for like a little punchline, but they didn't feel like they didn't carry on the episode, right? They're like little side things, like, oh, Zoidberg's pretending to be a dog. Okay, does it do anything for the show? No. Okay. The professor keeps on leaving the window open. It kind of
that was funny.
Adds to it. It's funny. We have the various lengths of wire. Okay, that kind of comes it in, but it's kind of just for the sake of it, right? And then obviously like the ending with the bureaucrat thing and everything, and then every so often you'd have and every so often you have something to do with like Fry making a joke about something, or like like Bender. Actually, I do like Bender says like, oh, Fry is dead. No, Fry, you can't be dead. And he like punches him in the crotch. And Fry wakes up. He's like, Professor, it's your fault that you can't have kids. Yeah. So like there are some good jokes here and there, but in any case, I'd say 6 out of 10. I think we both say 6 out of 10. Not a bad episode, just it's not very memorable. It's probably not going to be like the top tier ones anymore. It'll be good for like discussions in the future, but it's never going to be like, oh, I remember that episode from Futurama, the one where the professor is like a kook and he's like a cult leader for science. Honestly, I'm surprised it didn't happen earlier. Yeah. So I think there's other ones there. But is there anything else to say for Wicked Human?
It was nice to see Amy and Hermes kind of be pushed forward a little more in this episode, because usually they're just kind of there like just as an accessory to like the office room or something like that. So it was kind of nice to see them have a little more face time. That would be kind of the little cherry I would say about this episode. We get to see those guys a little more.
Sure. No, I agree, and it's nice to kind of have more of the characters kind of in there. And oh yeah, even like the whole like Morbo and Linda thing and all this stuff. In terms of Morbo's being raptured, and Linda's like, why am I not like, why am I left behind, and all this stuff. Like little things here and there. They're funny. So I do like the episode, but yeah, one of those. No, fair enough. I guess we'll leave it there for Wicked Human. A little bit quicker than our last previous ones for
we discussed. Let's try and get through these as clean and quick as possible.
Yeah, we'll try and do it. Like, it's supposed to be a quick spoiler review thing, right? So it's all good. Yeah. But in any case, thanks again, Mitchell, for joining me as always with our discussion. And everybody, please. Yeah, it is fun. Please like, share, and subscribe if you like talking all things Futurama, and also, be sure to comment if you like. And we'll see everybody next time for another episode that I definitely got wrong in my predictions.
Me too.
Murderoni, episode 7. So until then, have a good one, man. Take it easy, and we'll see you later.
Yeah, see you later, man. Toodaloo.
Toodaloo.